4G. ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Antes de tener mi cuenta de Chase Secure Banking, debía correr a la casa de cambio. Primer cargo. Luego, de nuevo a comprar giros postales para pagar servicios. 2 cargos más. Pero ahora, con Chase Secure Banking, puedo pagar servicios, cobrar cheques y enviar dinero, todo por un pequeño cargo mensual por servicio de $4.95.
Visita chase.com/Secure Banking para abrir tu cuenta sin depósito mínimo. Chase, logra más con lo que tienes.
Se aplican cargos por ATMs que no pertenecen a Chase. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. miembro de FDIC.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Sport G, the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions.
And now, here are your hosts.
All right. Playoffs. Week 14. I'm Chris. With me are JR and Jack.
Playoffs? JR here.
What's happening?
All right. Hey, happy belated, Jack. Jack had a birthday.
Thank you.
16.
Yes, I did.
That's fun age. You're going to have fun. Anyway, all right. Fantasy football. Oh, man. I went 3-2. 3 teams going to the playoffs. 2 not going to the playoffs. Thanks for nothing. CEH. We'll get to that. Missed it by 22 points in my big money league. Like everybody in front of me who needed to lose lost, but we couldn't have just fed Zeke all night. We couldn't. All I needed was I needed 30 points out of Zeke. I didn't need anything crazy, but yeah, it's a big money league. I mean, I won points 2 weeks, so I won most of my money back, but still, always hurts in an expensive league when you miss the playoffs. How'd you guys do?
Well, made the playoffs in 8 of 11 leagues. Not too shabby. Money league, I blew out Jack and eliminated him from the playoffs. Sorry, but yep. 163 to 87. All in all, pretty good week for me anyway. Jack maybe not so much, but Jack did. As Jack made the Sporgy playoffs, right, Chris?
Well, yep, I did.
Yeah, everything that needed to go right for you did. Like everybody who needed to lose lost, and you won by the amount you needed to win by. Those are good feeling when that happens.
Jack did beat his dad at golf on Sunday, but I got him on the fantasy gridiron, and he'll have a chance at redemption. We face each other in the Sporgy League playoffs this week.
What if you guys will not be moving forward in that league after this week? But yeah, it's Darren Waller though. I mean. Man.
Oh, man.
Whew. Well, I put up 190 because of him in the league where I'm defending a title. So I gotta love that.
This was the first Sunday in a long time that I wasn't just watching Red Zone all day and watching my Eagles lose. And Jack and I ended up playing around the golf at Dove Mountain. Nice course here in the Tucson area. I had a friend come in from out of town, and he was a huge diehard Eagles fan, and he goes, let's not subject ourselves to a day of misery and watch those guys lose to the Packers. Let's play golf. So that's what we did. And Jack did steal the show on the links, but it was kind of cathartic. Jack had the game on in the golf cart on his phone, and we still kept tabs on it, but it wasn't the same as watching. And but I was checking in the fantasy results the whole time. But maybe I ought to do that more often because I had a pretty good day. But Darren Waller carried my team. I got a good day from Jonathan Taylor. All my patience paid off. A lot of these guys. Melvin Gordon, who's let me down so many times, had a big day. I mean, everything went right. But, I was like, gosh, I wish this was week 14 because that's the biggest week of the year, really. Because if you make the playoffs, it's one thing to make it, but especially in the money leagues, if you advance past that first playoff round week, then you're usually getting into some deeper money.
Yeah.
And if you make it to the finals, then you're really going to cash in. So lots of work to be done, but first hurdle has been crossed, and I got some guys coming off a bye week. Speaking of that, CMC going to be?
He's supposed to be, but then today, a thigh injury shows up? Like, oh, come on, man. Come on. Like, I need it for, like, especially for the sports. Like, of all the 3 teams made the playoffs, the one league where it is the most satisfying for me is the Sporgy League. Because I checked it today. In week 7, I was 2-5. All right. And I ended up finishing 7-6. So for me, like, it's extra satisfying to make it in that league because that's the league where I have been struggling all year because CMC was my pick. And I'm excited to get him back for the playoffs, thinking, all right, this shit'll be easy. And then today, he's questionable for Sunday again. Like, it's killing me, man. It's killing me.
On the other side of the coin, I have a lot of Mike Davis and only have CMC in one league. So if he doesn't play, that's just fine with me. Although Davis really hasn't been a world beater when he's been in there, so I may have better options even if he plays. So, but once again, game time decision. You hate to see that, but there's a chance. Are you saying there's a chance, right, Jim Carrey?
Oh yeah, it's what the Lions fans are saying all this week. But the Lions got their last win of the season this following.
The Lions actually, didn't they have a pretty good day? They beat the Bears.
I said they got their last win. You know who's next? Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Green Bay, Minnesota. Not in that order, but yeah.
You know what? I think they were inspired because Patricia's no longer there. So
I think 0-4 is in the future because the Bears are. We talked about all season. The Bears aren't that great. The Bears were a mirage, and it's starting to show how bad the Bears are.
Who we thought they were.
Yeah.
But Matthew Stafford, 400 yards. I don't care what defense you're playing. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Especially with no Galladay.
Yeah, but they need to blow that whole.
Very swift.
They need to blow that whole team up. While you have no coach, no GM, just blow the whole thing up. Send Stafford to Atlanta or to Dallas. Just go ahead and just get it over with Lions and sign Carson Wentz because you're probably going to do that because that's the Lions' move.
Eagles will, sign. They'll trade Wentz for Stafford.
There you go. But yeah,
Jalen Hurts' era has begun.
Well, speaking of Jalen Hurts, it's a good segue into waivers because that's probably for quarterbacks this week. I mean, that's probably the pickup.
No. I don't think too many playoff teams are going to go there, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're in the consolation round, you never know. I mean, like I have a league where I had Carson Wentz, and this is the week where we're finally parting ways. I mean, he's been on the bench, not picking up Hurts for him, but still, and if you're
got a lot of Carson Wentz on his team.
I had so much of Carson Wentz, man.
Hey, for like a month, he was a great guy to have.
Well, he was good. I mean, he was decent last year for fantasy, and then I think I learned a valuable lesson this year. And probably like my 3rd year taking fantasy serious is never draft with your heart. Done with Eagles. I got Miles Sanders. I'm tired of the 4-point weeks, letdowns, getting like 30 yards. I'm tired of the Wentz just ruining my game. So I remember today, woke up this morning and I cut Carson Wentz off every single one of my fantasy teams, every single one.
Yeah, you can't be a fan when you play fantasy football. I mean, you could be a fan of the game, but you can't be you can't be a homer.
My dad had a good point. He said pick up the defense or the kicker, since it's not that big of a deal.
Yep. If you're going to be a loyalist, that's what you do. And the other advice is you don't ever bet on your team either. Don't ever bet with your heart.
Oh, I mean, being from Detroit, being from Detroit, I know to not be a homer in fantasy football because you can never count on a Lion. The team where CEH got me, there's lots of blame to go around on that team. A little bit of Wentz. Thanks for nothing this week, CEH. Galladay. Galladay was my number 1 receiver on. Never rely on a Detroit Lion in fantasy. See, I already knew that lesson, Jack. But you're young. You gotta learn these things.
I gotta learn.
Yeah. Quick waivers. I have like 2 claims in this week, and I think they're for like Tim Patrick and Logan Thomas. Anything worth talking about for waivers, guys?
Phillip Rivers, Cam Akers, maybe. T.Y. Hilton seems to be making a late season surge, but I'm not buying it.
And I told you guys, Phillip Rivers. I picked him up like a month ago in my big money league. I haven't lost since I've picked up Phillip Rivers. All he's done is meet or beat his projections. That's all that's when you're on my team. That's all I ask of you: meet or beat your projections, and that's what Phillip Rivers has done. He's not putting up a flashy 30, 40-point game. He's not putting up 4 points. He's going to put up at least his projections, and that's all you need. So let's just move on to just.
I was going to say, honestly, the only two players to note, honestly, this week are running back for the Jets, Ty Johnson at over 100 yards, including he had 60 fantasy points on Yahoo leagues, 22 rushes, 100 yards, a rushing touchdown, and he caught 2 passes for 13 yards. And J.D. McKissick had a pretty good day in the game against the Steelers. Caught 8 balls. I know he had 8 rush yards, but he caught 10 of 10 for 70 yards.
Yeah, I mean, coupled with Antonio Gibson going out of the game with turf toe, and he's the pass catching back in Washington. He's the new Chris Thompson. So I mean, he's
great.
I started him. It worked out. Now hopefully my claim for Jonathan Taylor comes through. But so I mean it's worth something. So I guess let's get to the games. Thursday night football is bad. Man, like Monday night football, Tuesday night football, one day off, bam, Thursday night football. I'm guessing this year, this is usually about the time we started getting Saturday football. No Saturday football this year? Do we know? Does it really matter? I mean, everything's probably been shifted around because of COVID.
Yeah, probably.
So who is playing Thursday? I should probably have that up already.
God, what happened? The New York Football Giants last week, taking it to the Seahawks. Who saw that coming?
Well,
not even Giants fans saw that coming.
Well, speaking of who saw that coming, staying in the same division, how about the Washington football team? No more undefeated teams in the NFL.
And whose bold prediction was that?
Yours? Yeah.
Wow. First week, I don't pick the Steelers to lose. Someone else does, and they hit.
Well, and got to give Jack credit for the Browns, too.
Browns are legit.
We'll get to bold predictions later in the show, but for us at least.
Yeah. Oh, Pats and Rams.
Pats and Rams.
Super Bowl rematch.
Speaking of results, what happened to Justin Herbert this week? Boy,
oh my God,
he bottomed out I started him in one league over Kyler Murray. What a mistake that was! Who saw that coming? The Patriots, 45-0. Really?
Was that in Foxborough? The only thing I can think, or was
no,
it?
No, it was in LA.
No, so he didn't travel. So yeah,
that's a head scratcher.
Yeah,
maybe Belichick saw something to rattle the young rookie, but wow. Man, one of my teams bottomed out bad. I still hung on in that league, but I lost to the worst team in the league because I started Herbert.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic of his fantasy performances this year. I mean, I'm guessing he's going to get things right, but Patriots, like, is Cam worth owning? He's shown he's the best running back on that team. But as far as fantasy quarterbacks go, I mean,
I think he's worth owning as a backup. Yeah. He's not going to start.
He's not throwing you any touchdowns, that's for sure. And then the Pats, who is even worth starting?
I still am a big fan of Damian Harris. I don't know what his statistics were this week, but.
Would you start him, though? He's worth a roster spot, I'll give you that, but are you starting him?
Hopefully you don't have to, but yeah, he may be a flex at best because you're rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice. And the Rams have a pretty formidable defense. I wouldn't be starting them this week. You got two good defenses here, by the way.
Yeah.
Two good defenses here. I don't know if you want to start either of them, but I'd probably start the Rams this week.
Should we buy into the Cam Akers hype?
No.
Yeah. Because
I think all year long we said avoid that three-headed monster, and we've been right all year long.
Yeah, I'm
say 1 or 2 weeks. There's usually not enough mouths to feed there. I think you're down to like your Cooper Cups and your Robert Woods, and even those are iffy.
Wood seems to be the receiver this year. But yeah, Cam Akers, all the fantasy pundits this week saying his name, like, oh, looks like he's the cleared back. And no, it's not. No, it's week 14. What was it, a month ago, or maybe a month and a half ago, it was Darrell Henderson was the clear back. And then beginning of the season, Malcolm Brown was the clear back. No, don't buy it. Just stay away from the Rams backfield.
Avoid.
Yeah, and then Robert Woods, it looks like this year he's the receiver. But then again, Josh Reynolds seems to be sucking away a lot of fantasy points and don't.
So for those of you in the fantasy playoffs, more than likely there won't be a whole lot of activity taking place Thursday this week.
Yeah.
There's not that many players worth playing in this game. Maybe you or your opponent might have a Robert Woods.
Yeah, and if you're starting Jared Goff, you're probably not in the upper echelon of your playoffs. Yeah. You're probably in the consolation bracket.
Yeah, so the action's almost going to be Sunday this week. It's not going to be one of those weeks where you go into Sunday down 50 points like in recent weeks. That has happened.
Yeah.
Not going to happen this week. In most cases.
Well, speaking of Sunday, let's get right into it. Packers-Lions. I'm starting Aaron Rodgers in this game if I have him. I mean, he's playing against the Lions defense.
The fantasy gods have been kind to me because both of my money leagues, I have Rodgers. And in both of my money leagues, I drafted Rodgers to back up Lamar. Mm-hmm. And Lamar's an afterthought now.
Yeah.
It's the Aaron Rodgers show on all the teams I have him. And what greater gift than a indoor game against the Lions?
And to Devontae Adams against the Lions secondary. Oh, you're starting him. He feasted last week.
100 yards by halftime.
Yeah. And yeah, he had 34 fantasy points last week. Aaron Jones.
Go ahead. The only concern here is that Rodgers could be on the bench for the fourth quarter watching the blowout.
Yeah. You're starting Aaron Jones. Robert Tonyan's a thing. We spent the middle of it. He was a thing at the beginning of the season. He was nothing in the middle of the season, and apparently at the end of the season, he's a thing. He's had 3 back-to-back 10-point-plus fantasy games. So
yeah, I think he's like the third or fourth most productive tight end.
Yeah. So yeah, he lagged in the middle of the season, but Aaron Rodgers has a new friend in the tight end realm.
Don't forget about William. Aaron Jones, of course, but this might even be enough that you might see Williams also get some carries.
True, yeah, and he's the passing guy too. He's the passing back when Jones is healthy.
Yeah, the only hope is that it's a divisional matchup, and sometimes those divisional matches, the teams know each other pretty well. Maybe the Lions will put up a fight. I'm hoping because I don't want Rodgers handing the ball off with a 35-point lead at halftime.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty optimistic that he'll put some good numbers up against the Lions. So, anybody on Detroit that you're starting?
No.
Is Swift going to be back?
Even if he was, it
better be.
It's always to me it's always a coin flip starting a guy coming off an injury. Granted, you had your incidents like CMC this year coming off 8 weeks off and putting up 40 points. But I mean, those are few and far between. Generally, people always kind of especially a running back, you're generally eased back in. I wouldn't be starting Swift even if he is available.
And
what about
Peterson will be vulturing the touchdowns too.
Yeah, and then what about Galladay? Is he going to be?
Matthew Stafford did throw for a lot of yards last week, and he'll probably be playing from behind, so you never know.
No, is Galladay going to be playing? He's been out for 3 weeks.
I don't know if he's playing. If he's on the field, he'll be the best option.
Yeah, because your boy Marvin Hall got cut, but someone else picked him up. Yeah, he's on another team already. He didn't last long. Hawkinson, that's probably the line you're starting with confidence. He's a top. I think he's a top 5 tight end right now.
Yes, and then a lot of tight ends have bit the dust this year.
Mm-hmm.
No Kittle. Mark Andrews has been a disappointment.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz has disappeared after being injured. He's come back, but I think Goddard has surpassed him in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tanyans and the Hawkinsons of the world have stepped in.
Mm-hmm. So let's go to Texans Bears. Deshaun Watson. There was a lot of intrepidation last week because he wasn't going to have Will Fuller. Didn't matter. He's still Deshaun Watson. Still a reason they backed up a wheelbarrow, full of money for him in the offseason. So you're starting him, but it's David Johnson at this point is a flex. But is there anyone else in the Texans worth a start?
None that I can think of.
And no tight end, no receiver.
But yeah, if Matthew Stafford threw for 400 yards on the Bears, Watson's going to put up some numbers. He's got to throw to somebody. Who are you going to throw to? Cobb.
There was some new guy named Hanson that and then it was a good day for Kiki Cutie, but I don't think.
He'll be a popular pickup this week.
Yeah, see, to me, now it's just going to be receiver by committee in Houston now that Fuller's gone.
Yep, there's none of those names we mentioned are probably going to be on any fantasy rosters. And what are you going to do in Chicago? Allen Robinson, maybe?
Well, it's David Montgomery's probably in the starter conversation now.
Yeah, he's kind of made a late season surge here. I don't know where that came from. Houston doesn't have the best defense, so that could be a play. Montgomery and A-Rob.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, unless you got IDP, there's no Bears you're starting.
Sporgy. ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love. Imagine the greatest collection of real-life entertainment on the planet, all in one place. Go ahead. Dare to stream with Discovery Plus. Stream now. Stream what you love.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Cowboys and Bengals. Yuck.
Well, I was thinking this might actually be a good week for Zeke Elliott, and then today I read that he's not going to be practicing all week. I think he's sore from running into that wall last night, known as the Ravens defense at the goal line. Three plays in a row, got nothing. But I hope he at least plays. If he does, I think he should have a good chance to succeed against a less than stellar Cincinnati Bengals defense. I don't know if you're going to, I guess you probably start a Mary Cooper.
I say, with Andy Dalton, it seems him and Andy Dalton are finding their groove, but Andy Dalton also seems to really like CeeDee Lamb.
Yep, and for a while there, I was like, don't start any Cowboys. I even benched Zeke a few weeks, but I think it looks like they're back. The train's back on the tracks a little bit.
They're not going to the playoffs, but it's Andy Dalton seems to like he's a competent quarterback, right? That's the best you can say about Andy Dalton. He's competent.
And you know what? I mean, he's going to go back to Cincinnati, so that'll be he'll have a chip on his shoulder and want to stick it to his old team there.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a revenge game.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not implying that you should be starting Andy Dalton by any means this week, but there is hope for those receivers on Dallas. And, if you're desperate for a tight end, Sergeant Schultz.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz could be a play.
So, are you starting any Bengals at this point? So no more Boyd, no more T. Higgins. He was a name that came up a lot mid-season. Is the party? Well, get the party over when Burrow got hurt, more than likely with those guys.
I benched Boyd last week, and then I saw he caught like a 72-yard touchdown. But then when I looked over the box score, that was his only catch of the day. Was that one bomb?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not counting on that being in. I'm not counting on Boyd being a reliable starter for week 1 of the playoffs. And Higgins has been pretty consistent, though. Look at his numbers.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. Chiefs Dolphins. A much better matchup than we would have thought at the beginning of the season. This, the usual suspects with the Chiefs, right? Mahomes, Cheetah. Hold up. How about CEH? Thanks for nothing. Literally, CEH. 0.
Wishy-washy fantasy play.
Yeah, once he was active, I think a lot of fantasy owners figured, well, he's active, so he's going to play. And then, of course, the Chiefs are like, well, we're only going to play him if we absolutely have to. And, that turned into be a dud. So,
well, they have a lot of insurance now with Bell.
Well, speaking of turned out to be a dud, could that be... can we say that about CEH? When you look at his... he started strong, and then he just kind of...
plateaued.
Yeah. His last... Oh, no. He had 20 points last week, but he really had... Until last week, he had just... It was 13 points or less since week 6. So, he's been... I guess he's just been all right this year, which...
Considering the hype he had at the beginning of the year, I'd consider him a letdown, but I think he was still a solid fantasy play, especially for a rookie.
Yeah, that's a good point. He was a top 10 draft pick. I
still think that was ridiculous. I'll never gamble on a rookie like that.
I don't think he's put up top 10 draft pick number. I think he's put up respectable numbers, but I don't think he's put up top 10 draft pick numbers.
I have to agree with you.
So those are the 3. And at this point right now, he's to me, he's a flex. If you got a better running back, start him. Because, too, there's a lot of uncertainty. With Le'Veon Bell showing up, there's uncertainty now. And that Miami defense is formidable. Yeah.
It's not a pushover.
So I dropped them to pick up the Baltimore defense this week in my big money league, and I regret that decision. But come on, Baltimore was playing Dallas. It is what it is. You live with your decisions. The Dolphins, though, I think as far as who are you confidently starting, I say the same thing every week. Devontae Parker. Everybody else, not confidently starting them.
Yeah, Gesicki's touchdown dependent, but he has scored, I think, in 2 weeks in a row. Might be worth a look, but probably, hopefully, you have a better option.
He's touchdown dependent, and he scored his 4th touchdown of the year this week. Just take that for what it's worth, people.
Myles Gaskin.
Yeah, it's true. He showed up ready to play. If he's still on a waiver, I think he disappeared last week when he lost his IR status on most of my waiver wires. But yeah, if you see him out there, grab him. But that's probably it for Miami, right?
Yep.
You're not starting Tua.
No.
Yeah. Cardinals Giants.
The New York Football Giants are improving week by week.
Yeah.
What a big victory against the Seattle Seahawks. Nobody saw that one coming.
And Arizona, they were my NFC dark horse pick this year, and you have underwhelmed everybody this year, Arizona.
They had a big win against the Seahawks, and then they had the big catch and everything, and then everything went downhill since there.
Yeah.
Stop D-Hop, you win.
And now they even have to share their home field with the 49ers.
Mm-hmm. So the Cardinals, you're starting Kyler, right? You're starting D-Hop.
Kenyon Drake.
Well, I would say let's talk Cardinals backfield. Are you starting Kenyon Drake?
Yeah, I have a league where I have both him and Edmonds, and I was convinced for sure that when Drake got hurt in the middle of the season, and Drake would inherit the job and never give it up. And I failed in that one because Edmonds never seized the moment. And Drake's come back. He's been solid, but not spectacular. But he's the back that I'm starting.
Well, the thing is with Arizona, I wonder if Kyler Murray steals a lot of carries from either of these guys since he's so mobile.
Yeah, that could be part of it too.
We're not starting any Giants, right?
Maybe Evan Ingram.
Oh, there's a name. Man, there's a name that I drafted a lot of him, and he hasn't been on a roster at many of my teams since like week 3.
I picked him up mid-season, and he's my backup tight end. That's probably where he belongs.
Yeah.
I will say that Wayne Gallman has quietly become at least flex consideration. He hasn't been that bad.
Yeah, because someone's got to get the ball, right?
Yep. And he's quietly put up some numbers. Just keep an eye on him.
This next one might fly under the radar as the best game of the week or one of the best games of the week. Vikings Bucks. I mean, the Vikings are now playing for their playoff lives, so they got something to play for. And then you got the GOAT, whose last appearance wasn't that great. So you're gonna have two motivated teams playing each other. I mean, you're starting Dalvin Cook, you're starting Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, definitely probably a flex. Any other Vikings?
I think you got it all covered.
Then the Bucks. Brady's a starter. Let's talk Bucks receivers. What do you do?
I have not been impressed with Antonio Brown since his return. I think Evans is a notch above him. I think Godwin is probably a slight notch above Evans, and I think the Scotty Miller show has ended with the emergence of Antonio Brown. But you never know. This could be Antonio Brown's week. He hasn't done anything so far. Maybe, who knows? There's so many options there that you don't know. And then you throw Gronk into the mix. So, and then you got Cameron Brate in the red zone. Yeah. There's a lot of weapons. So it is concerning because there's so many weapons there and you don't know who's going to get what, and it kind of dilutes them. There's not one surefire guy there.
Is Gronk still worth owning or starting?
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I'm just starting to wonder if this whole Bucks thing for Antonio Brown is just his. Well, obviously, it's a reclamation. It's his way back into the league. Just
exactly
keep your mouth shut and your head down. Be a third receiver for half a season, so next year you can sign somewhere else and be the number one guy.
Yeah, he's got to be a one again. We need to make Antonio Brown great again. Dude was like putting up Hall of Fame numbers, and what the heck happened to Antonio Brown?
Yeah, think what you want of the guy personally. When he was
he was incredible. Hall of Fame was within reach.
He is good at football.
He's got a chance if he puts up another good 4 or 5 years in the NFL, which I think he could.
I just see a little bit of T.O. in him, and I think that it's just a matter of time before that time bomb bursts.
That's fair. Because T.O. proved you can be the one of the greats of all time, but if you got if you like yourself a little too much, it can be detrimental to your career. Broncos Panthers. Melvin Gordon, and then have Tim Patrick on your bench. Like if you're starting Tim Patrick, you're in your consolation bracket. But yeah. Is there a Bronco worth starting?
Gordon's worth consideration. He did get 135 yards last week, but I might be starting him this week. He's started most of the weeks. I actually had what's the other Broncos running? Phillip Lindsay I had, and I cut him because I was tired of having both of them and having to pick and choose. And then last week the game started and Lindsay started after he was like hurt all week. But Gordon ended up being, the hot hand, and Lindsey faded away as the game progressed. But it's concerning there because even if you like to think at least Gordon's going to be the featured guy, but if Lindsey breaks a couple big runs, they might. There's been games where Gordon got 6-8 carries. So that's kind of if you have better options, you're going to consider them.
And Noah Fant is falling off the tight end radar.
Yes, he has. He pulled an Evan Ingram.
Yeah. Panthers. CMC. If he's keep an eye on him. My gut's saying he's still probably going to play. He still practiced today. He was limited. So you're starting him. Teddy. What do you do with Teddy? You starting Teddy? What do you?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not starting him.
And then
DJ Moore is injured. I don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah,
he's been a mainstay for me all year, but
him and Samuel, and I believe at least David Moore. I can't speak for Samuel. David Moore, I believe he's on the COVID list, but I don't think he is. I have COVID. I think he was a close contact. So keep an eye on him. He might be ready for Sunday. I'm not sure about Samuel. That's about it for the Panthers.
What about Rob?
Robbie Anderson. Yes. Things are lining up for it to be a huge day for Robbie Anderson. If there is no David Moore, if there's no Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, 60 fantasy points.
You mean DJ Moore?
Yeah, David Moore. Yeah, wrong team.
David Moore is on the Seahawks, right?
Yeah.
But DJ Moore is on
we don't know.
Money League.
The D could stand for David. We don't know. Let's see. Titans, Jaguars. Titans playing for the playoffs.
Titans are going to be pissed after losing last week.
You're starting A.J. Brown. And someone who we have shit-talked on this podcast for most of the season, all of last season, but Corey Davis, he's probably a flex consideration for you this week. 35 fantasy points last week.
Yeah, especially going up against that Jacksonville secondary. Could be a big day for Tannehill.
Yeah, and then Jonnu Smith, he's he's gone from upper echelon of tight end to just average. And then let's see, Jags. James Robinson, who's probably going to get mentioned as one of, if not the best, one of the best waiver wire finds of 2020. You're starting him. But what about Jags receivers? I mean, DJ Chark's been a bust this year. It's fair to say, right?
Yep.
Yeah. The only thing I have to say about the Jags is for a team that is 1-11. They're playing football like they still want to win. That's the only thing I have to say about the Jags. 27-24. They lose by 3 to the Vikings. They lose by 2 to the Browns. Like, they're still putting up, they're still trying out there. Only lost to the Packers by 4, only lost to the Texans by 2. Like, they're still going out and playing football, so it's not like the Jets where everybody sucks, but
as of right now,
they start now.
They're getting pick number 2.
That's right.
Hey, they were almost going to have be tied for that first pick.
Until that Raiders mysterious touchdown pass with 5 seconds left.
That's the next game.
On a Hail Mary, they blitzed on a Hail Mary. The Jets saved their tank. Very impressive.
Yeah,
great job, Jets.
That is the next game. Colts Raiders. Derek Carr aired it out. Henry Ruggs. So speaking of which, is Henry Ruggs a starter?
Not this week against Indianapolis.
Nope. Is he a starter in general? Is he even a flex?
No, he's a flex depending on the matchup. I'm not even sure he's that. He's one of those guys that's a home run hitter. It's swinging for the fences, or you're going to strike out. He's high ceiling, but also a low floor.
And Josh Jacobs didn't practice today, so
of course,
not good because Devontae Booker was a bust. A lot of people picked him up with high hopes against the Jets, and he did nothing at all.
He had 50 yards. He still got me 6 points, but I was upset.
Well, that was nowhere near replacing the production of Jacobs. So against the Colts, good luck with that.
Yeah, Jacobs is a starter if he's healthy, but
it's Darren Waller is the money in the bank starter.
Oh, yeah.
Raiders.
Oh yeah, thanks for the 45 points last week, buddy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, in Derek Carr at this point, he's a backup. So the Colts. Who are you starting on the Colts?
Well, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm going to roll the dice with Jonathan Taylor. Sure looked good last week, and the Vegas defense is suspect, but you still see Nyheim Hines getting touchdowns, and Jordan Wilkins occasionally chips in, so that's still a three-headed monster. So Taylor had a couple big plays that put his numbers up. I'm going to roll the dice with him, but I understand that there's a risk involved.
To me,
I'm not sure if there's any other Colts worth starting. I know T.Y. Hilton has been making some waves lately, but I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid.
Phillip. He's worth
Phillip. Yep, Phillip. I brought him in. I started him last week because I forget who had on injured or on a bye week, and he filled in admirably.
Hey, he did. Paraphrasing the Patriots, he does his job. Jets and Seahawks. Ooh, the Seahawks coming off a bad beat to the Giants. Start all your Seahawks.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. He's been very quiet since that huge start to the season, but I think he makes his return to dominance in this game. Yeah,
I expect a huge Tyler Lockett game. He had a respectable game last week, but still, it's been ever since that Lockett game with the 53 points, he's been very, very disappointing. I expect big things from him this week. Yeah, DK Metcalf. Seattle backfield. What's going on? It's Chris Carson. He's better. He's hurt. What's going on?
I don't think anybody knows what's going on. That's a pretty big if, but it is the Jets. One thing that I believe the Jets are better at stopping the run than they are in the pass. So, keep an eye on it, and if you know for sure who's going to be the guy in Seattle, you could start that individual, but I think it's going to be with the Russell Wilson passing show, at least until they get a big lead. This could be the week that DK Metcalf and Lockett both get their 100.
And then you're not starting a Jet. Don't be. Ty Johnson's he's the sexy waiver wire name this week, and that's simply because Frank Gore's poor Frank Gore. Frank Gore got hurt. He's going to end his season injured and winless. He's going to end his career injured and winless.
Well, the Jets are very likely going to be behind, and Seattle does have a very suspect secondary. So maybe.
The first year I played fantasy football, 10, 11 years ago, Frank Gore was my first starting running back when he was on San Francisco. He's going to go out like he's going to go out. Saints and Eagles. Oh, boy.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, for you guys. Oh, boy.
How about the premier quarterback matchup of the week, Taysom Hill versus Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
Yeah, can't wait to watch this one.
I don't know. I'm hearing that Breeze might be back.
I saw reports today. It was like doubtful he was going to practice, and we're probably going to have to wait another week.
I'm the Saints looking to see who's on their schedule. I think they can get by with one more week of Taysom Hill. The way the Eagles have fallen apart, but
I know if I'm a Kamara owner, I am cheering for Drew Brees to come back because Kamara under Taysom Hill just. I think we got maybe a situation like what's going on in Arizona. I think Taysom Hill's stealing some of those runs.
Well, Latavius Murray had a big day the week before, so this could be if New Orleans gets to a big lead in one of those weeks where they rest Kamara and Latavius Murray gets the workload. It could happen.
And I heard
they really aren't that bad against the run. Well, I say that they gave up an 80-yard run last week, so they're bad against everything right now, so I should probably not go there.
Heard Michael Thomas sat out of practice today. Like he's gonna when we get to our end of the season show, he's definitely gonna be on the list of fantasy busts this year.
Yeah.
Do you start Jared Cook
against the Eagles? I probably would because their linebackers can't cover anybody. This might be a week to give him a shot, but depends what your other options are. Hopefully you don't have to go there, but it's a viable option this week.
And then Eagles.
You got to start Miles Sanders,
Nothing.
but New Orleans is a good defense. And Sanders is averaging over 5 yards a carry. It's not his fault. They just don't ever give him the ball. They don't run the ball.
That's right.
I mean, I got a couple teams where I'm benching them this week. I got better
Yeah, I'd
options.
be benching him.
I don't
No issue
blame
with
you,
benching him right now.
but it's not his fault. The coaching staff refuses to stick to the run, and then they fall behind, and then they just pass. And then it'll be interesting to see. Maybe they will run more with Hurts running the offense. Maybe they'll try to take some of the load off of them. But can you rely on Sanders right now? Probably not. And again, it's not his fault, but it's the Eagles. The Eagles are inept. They're not able to maintain possession of the ball. There's a lot of 3 and outs. So yeah, it'd be tough to bench him, but also tough to rely on him as a starter this week. So maybe Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
I believe Ertz is going to play too.
Ertz is going to play, but I still think Goddard is going to get more balls. I think the Zach Ertz era in Philadelphia is nearing its end. I think the team's clearly identified that Goddard is the younger player with more upside, and I don't think they're going to keep both of those guys, and I think Ertz is going to be moving on.
Yeah, I've seen a couple things about, this is probably Ertz's last year, and that Wentz is probably going to get traded. I don't know if you guys noticed, keep an eye on the Hurts-Rager connection. There seems to be a making of a thing.
There's chemistry there. They came out with reports today. Jalen Rager said that him and Hurts were buddies in the draft process, and they've been putting an extra work on the side. So the locker room's kind of divided right now. Fletcher Cox liked to tweet saying that Wentz should start, and now Rager's saying things about Hurts. So it seems like people are picking sides, but I don't know. We'll see what happens on Sunday, I guess.
It's getting ugly. It's like a just end the season Jets moment there.
Yeah.
Just let it be done, and hope that they replace Howie Roseman and put somebody in there that can identify draft talent.
Hey, only 4 games left.
Sporgy. ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth, and as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net. Sporgy.
Falcons Chargers. On the
Matt
Falcons.
Ryan, what happened, man? And then Justin Herbert, what happened?
I tell you, I cut bait.
Looking to get back on track this week.
I cut bait with Matt Ryan like the first month of the season on all the teams I had him on, and I am not. When I make my list of fantasy oopses this year, that's not on him. Like, I'm not mad that I cut him. I think we might be seeing the sun starting to set on this guy's career, at least in Atlanta. I don't know. Like, he's just. I think his zenith was the Super Bowl. It's just every year since then. I mean, he did all right last year, but hey, I wouldn't say start him with any confidence. How about Julio? Is he still worth starting?
Oh, he had 90-some yards last week.
Yeah.
He had 95 yards. He stayed healthy.
Mm-hmm.
If he's in the lineup, you got to start him. He's a no-brainer. He's one of those guys.
It's just you kind of have to.
Calvin Ridley probably right there too. I'm not as down as Ryan as you are. I still think he puts up good fantasy numbers. I think he's a better fantasy quarterback than he is an NFL quarterback. He still puts up respectable numbers, and but you're going to get a turnover sprinkled here and there. And then compare him to Herbert has just got to be itching to take the field after that debacle last week. I have to think that was a mirage. I'm going to chalk that up to Belichick being Belichick and figure it out. But I think I expect Herbert to bounce back. Will he be starting on any of my playoff teams? Probably not. But I'm rooting for him. He's fun to watch, and I think he's got a bright future. And I think that he'll bounce back nicely from that New England debacle. So what do you do with the rest of the Chargers' backfield, though?
You stay away from them.
What was it? Kalen Ballage. Now I heard Justin Jackson is coming back this week. Eckler's in that mix, and everybody said he was going to be great, and he was tweeting out how good he was going to be when he came back, and he hasn't really lit up any big numbers. Probably better in PPR than he is in standard. So you're probably going to play him, but that may be it. I'm avoiding all the rest of that Joshua Kelly, Jackson, Ballage nonsense. Forget about it.
I'd start Keenan Allen, though. That's Justin Herbert's favorite target. Going back to the other side of the ball real quick.
Maybe even.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
Mike Williams, maybe.
Yeah.
Flex.
I'll go back to the other side of the ball, though. Is it time to drop Todd Gurley?
I don't think it's time to drop him.
Can you start him with confidence?
He's touchdown dependent now.
Yeah.
He's not getting 100-yard days. He's getting like 40, 50 yards, and if you're lucky, you get one or two scores out of him, and that's his ceiling right now. He's not busting out any more 60, 70-yard runs like the old days. So he's a starter, but he's kind of like maybe a step above AP,
Mm-hmm. And before we move to the next game, I would start Justin Henry because Atlanta's awful against tight end, or Hunter Henry because Atlanta is awful against tight ends.
Yeah, Hunter Henry, good call there.
Yeah, Washington and San Francisco.
Washington football team. Wow, they slayed the dragon last week.
One team with a way better record than I thought they'd have, and one team with a way crappier record than I thought they'd have. It's going to be two good defenses going at each other. The Washington has been a surprise this year. They're a top 10 defense. Who'd have thought? But they're good against the pass rush. But who are you starting? Really? I mean, Logan Thomas is
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. And then Logan Thomas is a popular waiver wire pickup this week.
Yeah, and Raheem Mostert owners must be disappointed with last week's performance.
This is another backfield I want no part of because, he's been inconsistent and injured. McKinnon's pretty much evaporated. I mean,
you got Jeff Wilson had a couple big games, but he's always hurt.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of names there, and especially against Washington, I think their defense is decent against the run. I'm not sure if there's a 49er I want in my lineup this week.
I'd say Brandon Ayuk has earned, at least in my world, flex talk.
What about Are We Not Men, We Are Debo, Samuel?
No. He spent most of the season on IR. He started the season on IR.
Everybody raves about him, but I'm not seeing it.
Me neither.
No.
Steelers and Bills. Shootout alert. Shootout alert.
I loved the meme about the Steelers being the worst 11-1 or 11-0 team in history before they lost. And then there's the other one with all the list of all the teams they played. They have had a pretty soft schedule so far. And then it said the last thing it says, and then they lost to a football team with no name.
I mean, I was kind of on that bandwagon with the Steelers. I wasn't buying. I didn't look at them and think 72 Dolphins. I looked at the 2009 Patriots and we're like, this could be the new 72 Dolphins. But
the one saving grace they'll have is if they do get the bye, that's a huge advantage to sit out that week, and you only have to survive 2 games and you're in the Super Bowl.
But I mean, those 2009 Pats, you just looked at them and it was like, damn, that's a good football team.
Yeah.
The Steelers, I didn't get that feeling looking at them. Like obviously the record was what it was, but at the same time I was like, yeah, I never was like, yeah, they're going the distance. And yeah, because you talk about receiver by committee. I mean, that's the Steelers this year, right? I mean, I'd say you could talk about all 3 of their receivers. Their top 3 receivers. They're all in the flex conversation.
Yeah, well, you know what? This is going to be a good football game, I think. Mm-hmm. Buffalo's really looking strong.
That Josh Allen on Monday Night Football showing out. Man.
Yeah, this is going to be – this is the Sunday night game, and this could be a really good one for once because they haven't all been good. Looking forward to this game maybe more than any on the board. Pittsburgh's going to be pissed after losing. But they're on a short week, even though it's a night game. I mean, they played Monday night. They got one less week to prepare, and Buffalo's at home. Josh Allen's playing well. This could be the game of the week, I think. I'm looking forward to watching it. From a fantasy perspective, my biggest question for Pittsburgh is, boy, Benny Snell, what a bust he was. I picked him up but didn't start him this week, and thankfully, because he didn't do anything at all. James Conner hasn't had a big game in forever. The Pittsburgh offense is really, it's the passing game. Roethlisberger and all those 3 receivers. You got Eric Ebron, but you got so many weapons and none of them really stands out. I don't know who you starting. Smith-Schuster? I guess you could start any one of those guys. Claypool, Schuster, Deontay Johnson.
They're all at least a flex at this point. I mean, Claypool had like his worst game in like 2 months. Still gave you 6 points. I mean, yeah, it's flip a coin. I mean, if you got a Pittsburgh receiver, good for you. You got somebody worth starting. Bills, yeah, Diggs is the guy. Beasley last week, 28 fantasy points.
I think you got to be looking at Beasley in your flex if you have him on your roster. Although Pittsburgh defense is tough, might not be the best week for that. But Josh Allen, no brainer, starting. Probably none of the backfield is worth starting. Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, probably not startable on most weeks, let alone when you play the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I would avoid the backfield.
Yeah, no tight ends of note in this game. Like, you brought up Eric Ebron, but I mean, really, he's no Bills tight end at all. I mean,
nope.
And then Monday night, old Cleveland versus New Cleveland, Ravens Browns.
So being one with a pissed off team with a chip on its shoulder, going against the Cleveland team riding high.
Yeah, I think the Browns
Someone beat the Cowboys, but didn't that feel like a loss? Baltimore beating the Cowboys. They didn't look like they were in sync. If they'd been playing a decent team, I think they'd have lost. They just haven't been clicking lately. I don't know what's going wrong with Lamar this week or this year. They aren't the Ravens of last year. They've lost a notch on the totem pole.
I will tell you, watching the Tuesday night football game, I had the thought several times of, this is not a good game.
Oh, I agree.
Just watching it like, this is ugly.
And you got another 3-headed monster. Everybody's healthy now. You got the Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, who did find the end zone, and Mark Ingram. So 3 running backs equals no fantasy-worthy one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You got Lamar, who's good but not great like he was last year. I mean, you got to start him. If you, well, I got Rodgers and him on my roster in 2 leagues, so I won't be starting him over Rodgers, but in most cases you'll be starting Lamar. He's got a pretty low floor because he's always going to get you 70, 80 rushing yards. There's 7-8 points right there. And then Hollywood Brown finally got in the end zone, but that's it for him. He's probably not going to score again until your fantasy playoffs are over.
Yeah, he'll score next season.
reliable at all. Mark Andrews, I think it's still either on the COVID list or hurt.
He was activated today.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Well, that's good news for maybe, because even when he's been in this year, he hasn't been the same Mark Andrews, but actually since I think Boyle got hurt, he has had a bigger role. So if he's back and he's healthy, I think he's a viable starter. You got to start him. And
then Browns. I don't know.
I got to ask you, is it time to maybe consider Baker Mayfield as a viable starter?
That's what I was just sitting here trying to ask you. I was trying to be like, at this point in the season, we're getting into fantasy malpractice, maybe recommending Baker Mayfield. I don't know. Like, I had him last year. I mean, I had him last year, and he burned the hell out of me. But that's also last year. But I don't know. 31-3 at halftime or something like that. Yeah, but my problem is they didn't play two halves. They technically could have almost lost that game. They put up 31 points in the first half and then only 7 in the second half. Like, as a Detroit Lions fan, I see that an awful lot. You got to play the whole game. But it's all about the running backs fantasy wise on this team, right? That's who you start. You start Chubb, you start Hunt, and then the pass catchers. Yeah, this is another since Odell went away. This is receiver by committee. There's guys catching touchdowns in Cleveland who I've never even heard of.
Lineman got we got a big boy touchdown last week. I love to see that.
Well, not from a fantasy perspective.
And you got Dropovin Peoples-Jones looking like a superstar in Cleveland. So,
man, I thought Landry was pulling away for like 2 games, and then I don't know.
Yeah, just if they're wearing a Browns helmet, to me, you're starting the running backs, and that's it.
Yep.
All right, so that is week 14. Should be first week of the playoffs for everybody. I know I have one more team. I have one team with my 8-team league. We're playing week 14, just because when only 4 teams make the playoffs, there are no 3-week playoffs. You only do 2 weeks. So, but other than that, it's playoff time. If you made it, good luck. If you're in the consolation bracket, hey, it happens. It's fantasy football. Never stop trying. That's again. I mean, I was 2-5 in our Sporgy League in week 7, and I made it in the playoffs this week. Never stop. Even if you're in the consolation bracket, keep setting your lineups. Keep trying. Don't be that guy.
Teams is 1-4, and then I won 6 in a row, and then I lost 2 in a row. But I am in the playoffs.
Yeah, never stop trying. Yep. No, Jack, same league, Sporgy League. Last week, looking at that, I was looking at it Monday, like, oh, well, that's it for Jack. And no, everybody in front of you lost, and you won by. It's always such your lineup. Don't be that guy in the playoffs. Set your lineup.
Given Sunday.
Yes. So, other than that, good luck, and we'll catch you next week. And thanks for listening.
Oh, bold prediction.
Oh, wait, go! Oh, wow, yeah, bold prediction. Yeah, I don't want to forget bold predictions this week because, nothing for me. 0-0.
You were on a roll there for a while, though.
Yeah.
But so Chris's bold prediction was the 49ers over the Bills. So that did not come to fruition.
It did not.
My bold prediction was the Washington football team to shock the Steelers, which did come true. So that was a big one there. And got to give Jack credit for Cleveland over Tennessee. So we went 2 out of 3. Still not bad. Other predictions, Chris predicted that Fitz or Tua, which turned out to be Tua, would have 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. How'd that one work out?
I'm checking it right now. Let's see here. Dolphins stats. Miami Dolphins passing. Tua Tagovailoa 26-39 for 296 yards and a touchdown.
One touchdown short. Pretty good, though. I had predicted that Lockett would get 100 or more yards for Seattle. I don't think that happened against the Giants, but if you can verify that, Jack?
No, he did not. He did get 63 yards on 6 catches.
So that was a miss. And actually, was that yours, Jack? Oh, no.
No, I picked the Brown. I whiffed on my individual. I said both Browns running backs would have over 100 yards, and
right.
I went 0 for 2.
And I whiffed too because I made one extra pick. I said Derrick Henry would outrush both Cleveland backs combined, and I think Henry had a pretty dull day, didn't he?
Yeah, he only had 60 yards. And, yeah.
So I'm sure Chubb and Hunt exceeded that. So we didn't do very good on the individual picks, but we did pick 2 big upsets, so that was good. So it's time for this week's. Chris, you got anything for us?
Vikings over the Bucks.
Damn, in Tampa too?
Dalvin's going to cook.
Interesting. Jack, you got anything? I'm looking up the odds right now.
The Broncos game is even. No, you're talking about the Stafford locations. There's one, Denver. There's your Stafford. Drew Lock hasn't been very good.
I don't know. John Elway, for being a Hall of Fame quarterback, he cannot pick quarterbacks.
Sounds like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, John Elway, I think, is half the Broncos' problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my bold prediction as New England Patriots as 5-point underdogs to the Rams. I think they're going to continue that. Southern California, they've stayed out there this entire time. So I'm going to take New England to I'm not as impressed as others with the Rams. I'm just not. And I think Belichick
Here.
Find a way to win that one. I'm surprised the line's 5, but I'll take 5 points with the Patriots all day.
I wanted to be a madman and take the Jets over the Seahawks, but I'm not going to do it because that's like Seahawks are one of those teams where the upset happens like every 20 games. So they just had their annual random upset, so they're not going to be due for a long time. So I'm gonna take the inconsistent Raiders at home because they're very inconsistent. They beat the Chiefs, and then they almost lose to the Jets. I mean, I don't know what to do. The Raiders are just ride or die. So what the heck? Give me the Raiders.
The Raiders over the Colts. That is a bold prediction for sure. So individual, Chris, you got anything?
Give me 200 yards, 2 touchdowns for Dalvin.
Have a day.
He's been quiet for a couple of weeks. He's due.
That's a big day there. That's big numbers to hit.
As quiet as you can be for Dalvin. He's been.
I think Herbert has a bounce back day and gets 300 yards and at least 2 touchdowns against the Falcons defense.
Yeah, that's not really going on a limb, but
yes, it is after a 45-0 performance last week.
Yeah, and his 4 fantasy points.
Yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah. Okay. Kind of stole my thunder there. I was going to go with something else in that game, but I'm going to spread it around, and I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, but this is an individual. Ooh. Let's say that Josh Allen gets a rushing touchdown and 2 passing touchdowns and over 250 against the Steelers.
Hey.
Can't say 300 against the Steelers. That's right. I'm going to say 250 and 3 total touchdowns, rushing and passing.
Hey,
3 combined touchdowns.
I'm going to do a bonus one because it was low-hanging fruit and nobody picked it. Give me Russell with 303 TDs against the Jets.
Jets. You're picking on the Jets at this point.
Well, it could be. Let Russ cook.
They just lost to the Giants. It's the Jets. They're at home. I mean, yeah, it's all lining up for Russell on Sunday.
All right. Well, if we're going to do a bonus one, I got a bonus one for you that'll shock you. I think Matthew Stafford's going to get 300 yards against the Packers. I'm not going to say anything about touchdowns. I think they're going to be behind, and he'll rack up some yardage. I guess I'll say 2 touchdowns.
So garbage time.
Yeah, so it may not be as bold as some of the others, but probably most people don't think Stafford's going to get 300 yards against the Packers. I do because I think there'll be a lot of garbage time where he's chasing Green Bay could have a big lead. Jack, you want to have a bonus pick, or are you done?
I'm looking at the games here. What do we got?
I'm going to pick a 100-yard receiver. Who's going to get 100 yards receiving this week?
I was going to go with big man Rodgers in Green Bay, but if I have to pick a receiver, Let's see here.
Yeah, don't make it Devontae Adams.
I could pick Devontae Adams, so it's not really bold.
No, it's not. Because it's going to have a field day.
Wow, Cardinals are only favored by 2 against the Giants.
What?
Yeah, what?
Giants are hot, man.
What we got here? The Dolphins have a good defense, so I mean, I'll say Tyreek Hill continues his tear and gets another 100-yard game.
Who?
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, well, that's not going out on a limb either, but okay.
Will there
be the Dolphins have a top 5 defense?
Yes, they do, but it's Cheetah.
Will there be another backflip into the end zone? He did another one last week, even though the touchdown got called back. He still did it.
I was hoping you were going to say Jalen Reagor would get 100 yards. Now, that would be a bold prediction.
I should have predicted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to get 1 catch.
That would be a bold prediction. Yeah, they some of the Eagles sites were saying that Tyreek Hill had more yards in one quarter, that monster quarter he had a couple weeks ago, than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has in his career, and it's true. So another bust of a pick. Thanks, Howie Roseman, for nothing.
Hey.
All right, Week 14. Good luck, everybody, in the playoffs.
Yes.
We'll be back next week to review. Hope you win. It's crunch time. It's, as they say in the red zone, as the games get later, it's the witching hour. This is when games are won and lost in this time period. Well, this is when championships are won and lost. This is the most important playoff week of the season. You got to survive this week. At least you probably, if you're in a money league, you'll probably win some cash if you win this week. So good luck, everyone. Bring home the win, and we'll be back next week.
All right. See?
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're gonna
pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.